Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back another video from Ham on Beat, another JoJo fun facts. This is number 6. You know the rules. If it gets into spoilery territory for stuff I have not seen, then I will skip or stop the video. Let's get into it.
She's up there! Ham on the beat!
Welcome back to another installment of JoJo Fun Facts, where I go over interesting bits of JoJo trivia that aren't big enough for their own videos. These are some of my favorite videos to make since I get to show off and learn about some very interesting stuff that I wouldn't otherwise.
I have really enjoyed checking these. I have. And I've realised that there's only 7 fun facts videos. So after the fun facts, it's going to be the debunking Araki forgot extras.
Let's not waste any time and start with the first fun fact. A lot of people are aware of the 2007 Phantom Blood movie, infamous for its lack of a physical release, making it lost media. One odd detail about the film, though, is its poster. For whatever reason, Jonathan's pose here is based off of one done by Joseph on the cover of Volume 8. For another obscure fact, an error can be found on the official JoJo Portal website in its page for Josuke. The image of Josuke used here is actually the copy of Josuke created by the stand's surface, with the forehead bolt that gives him away clearly visible. In the previous episodes, I've gone over the various in-person JoJo events and attractions that have been held over the years. Another one that appeared recently is SOS from Green Dolphin Street Jail.
Cool.
This event commemorates the Part 6 anime adaptation in collaboration with the Tokohama Hakajima Space Paradise Aquarium. Kind of cute, since in Part 6 it was said that the prison was given the nickname the Aquarium.
Oh, okay,
it ran from October 1st to November 30th of 2022. The location has done multiple crossovers like this before, like one for the video game Splatoon.
Yeah, that makes sense though, because Stone Ocean only finished, like, last year, was it?
This event actually has a story, with the visitor taking on the role of a Speedwagon agent disguising themselves as a prisoner to help Jolene locate the memory disk.
Oh, cool.
Visitors are given a wristband with one of 9 different prisoner numbers on it. They can also pay to receive a stamp card, and if the card is filled by visiting various locations around the event, they receive a novelty Jotaro memory disk as a reward.
That looks so cool. I love it.
This comes with a disclaimer that no data is actually stored on the disk and it shouldn't be used in a computer. The inside of the aquarium is decorated with various images of the Stone Ocean characters and stands. There's also an exhibit called JoJo and Strange Creatures that has different animals, such as the spotted poison dart frog that appeared in the story.
They fell from the sky.
The animals are all shown with parameters in the style of stand stats.
Hey, that's sick.
So this pelican has a B in destructive power, making it stronger than Gold Experience, while this poison dart frog has an A in speed and strength, making it comparable to Star Platinum.
Whoa.
The highlight of the event is the Sea Animal Show, where for whatever reason, White Snake steals the memory disk of the penguin, making it unable to start the dolphin show.
Oh, no.
So the aquarium staff, dressed as prisoners, use the animals to find it. First they bring out a walrus that points to a statue with a disc inside, but it's one belonging to an isopod. Then the beluga whales come out and find the disc at the bottom of the pool. The penguin is healed and it starts the show by pulling on a string with a fish to reveal a sign. However, in the videos I found of the event, the sign doesn't work, and he just eats the fish off it, and the trainer has to do it themselves. Then the dolphin show starts with the anime's opening playing over it. Like all JoJo events, this one also has unique food items.
Cool.
For the drinks, I like the Jolene one with a stone-free bendy straw. There's also a Diver Down one, and a weather drink with a cotton candy cloud and gummy frog. There's a parfait that looks like stone-free string, as well as stone-free pasta.
Wow.
There's a crepe that was duplicated by Kiss, and the Green Dolphin Street wetland-style barbecue plate with alligator meat. Some of you might be familiar with Araki's first ever published one-shot, Poker Under Arms. Less might know about something that came before that. In 1978, when he was 17 years old, Araki wrote a one-shot story called The Bottle. It was submitted to the Tezuka Awards under the pen name Toshi Arakino. It didn't end up winning, so it was never published. To this day, the story has never been seen outside of the single picture shown as part of the contest. However, there's actually another Araki manga which predates this. Shonen Thunder issue number 4 is a fanzine allegedly created by Araki and his friend in elementary school.
Cool.
A drawing of a mummy inside is signed by a Toshiyuki Araki. With Araki having used pen names in the past, this very well may be his drawing. This was posted on Twitter in March of 2020,
so
with the user saying their father went to the same elementary school as Araki, where the two drew this book together. In a 2004 interview with a local Sendai newspaper, Araki talks about his elementary school days, and he mentions making his own manga doujinshi when he was in 4th grade. In December of 2022, another user described meeting Araki in person where they asked them about the drawing. Araki says he doesn't remember and doesn't think he drew the cover, but that the Mummy by Toshiyuki Araki may have been drawn by him. So it does seem like this drawing is real, making it the earliest known Araki illustration. It also seems like Araki's horror movie influence was present from an early age. Later he would cite the classic horror movie monster of the Mummy as an inspiration for the stand Hanged Man. JoJo is well known for being full of references to Araki's favorite music, either through the names of stands and characters or direct mentions of songs themselves. One question you might have is what the first ever music reference by Araki is. You might be tempted to say that it's Dio, who is the first character to appear in JoJo that is named after a musician.
Oh no, doesn't the manga... Oh, right, let's get into it.
However, Araki has actually referenced music in his works prior to JoJo as well. The villain Lauper in his manga Gorgeous Irene seems to be named after the singer Cyndi Lauper. Prior to that, in Cool Shock BT, names of various bands and musicians...
Right, I thought we were going, like, before Dio. I was like, oh, is there something really subtle thrown in the beginning or something? But no, okay, we're in different...
are seen written on crates in a museum, and Paul McCartney is also mentioned. In his one-shot Say Hi to Virginia, more names can be seen written referencing Randy Meisner, the album Dada, and the band, which would later go on to inspire The Hand. However, the real first music reference comes from that first one-shot, Poker Under Arms. At the poker table, you can see a bottle of booze with the name Poco written on it, referencing the band of the same name, which would later be repeated with the character Poco in Phantom Blood.
Right.
Just a second ago I mentioned the Part 4 stand The Hand, and how it was named after the Canadian-American rock band, The Band. Ever since featuring this in my original music reference video, I've gotten a ton of pushback for including it, with many saying that it's a stretch to claim this is a reference. However, this reference does have some official confirmation in Shueisha Jump Remix, a re-release of the manga that included special features, one of which was listing out the references to many of the stands and characters from Part 3 and 4. However, this reference also has a neat Easter egg. If you compare the two names in Japanese, they're almost identical with just one small part removed to create The Hand. This was referenced by the stand itself, which was used to erase a small part of the sign to make a different word. In the Metal Slug video game series, the rescuable POWs all have names randomly selected from a long list. Some of these names are references to JoJo. These include Araki, Joestar, Joseph, Kujo, and Kawajiri. For the 40th anniversary of Fist of the North Star in October of 2023, various manga artists submitted their own drawings to its art exhibition. These include Akira Toriyama, Gosho Aoyama, Rumiko Takahashi, Eiichiro Oda, Yoshihiro Togashi, and of course Araki, who drew this picture of Kenshiro. This marks the second time he's drawn the character, the first being in 2007. The Devil May Cry series also has its share of references to JoJo.
Really?
The first game's director, Hideki Kamiya, is a fan of JoJo and says that Joseph is his favorite character. In an interview with Electronic Gaming Monthly, Kamiya said that Dante's personality was influenced by Joseph in that he originally envisioned him as British when the character was still in his early stages as Tony Redgrave.
That's so cool.
In the original Devil May Cry, the scene when Dante is impaled by Alistair and pulls himself up through the sword was inspired by the way Cars stands up after using the stone mask. This was confirmed in the...
Wow, that is so sick. Like, I love the first Devil May Cry game, but like, I had no idea about JoJo's whatsoever back in the day when I was playing Devil May Cry. Oh my god, that's so sick.
Devil May Cry graphic file art book from 2007. Another reference in the first game are the Nobody enemies, who have the ability to put on a stone mask which makes them change in size and become harder to kill.
Oh wow.
The mask bears a resemblance to the one from JoJo, and this connection was confirmed by Kamiya and through the art books.
That is so sick.
The Sin Scissors enemies were said by Kamiya to have been nicknamed Death 13 by all of the staff during development.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it.
After the stand from Part 3. The death of the boss Phantom may have also been inspired by Dio's defeat at the mansion in Part 1, when he falls and is impaled by a statue.
Yeah.
The Bangle of Time item, which allows Dante to stop time, is said by Kamiya to be inspired by the powers of the world. Finally, in the DMC-themed pachinko game Devil May Cry X: The Last Judgment, Dante's victory animation when using Gilgamesh is a direct homage to Jotaro punching the screen with Star Platinum in the anime opening Stand Proud. JoJo has a long history of localization and can be officially purchased in many countries across the world. However, it has also had its fair share of bootlegs over the years, primarily in Asia. These often have humorous changes made to the title and feature bootleg art on the cover. In Vietnam, the series was illegally distributed under the title JoJo Brave Boys. In Indonesia, it was called Mission Impossible. In Korea, it was called Megaton Man. In China, it was called Brave Fight. In Taiwan, it was called Strongman Front. And in Thailand, it was called Wicked Mask, pretty fitting for Part 1. Another bit of trivia present in the Korean bootleg is the change made to Yukiko's quiz. In Yukiko's arc, she gives a quiz to Koichi about what kind of music Prince makes. In the bootleg Korean version, this was changed to a question about the country of origin of the rapper Jordi. Jordi was a French child singer who became popular in the 1980s. His single It's Tough to Be a Baby released when he was only 4 years old and reached number 58 in the Billboard Hot 100, making him the youngest to ever chart there. It's kind of odd that a change like this would be made, since at least in hindsight, I don't think anyone today has ever heard of this person. Although it may have been done due to Koichi also looking like a child.
Maybe.
In Diamond is Unbreakable, Araki hit a reference to his old manga Cool Shock BT. During the scene in the Harvest arc when they turn in the lottery ticket, the security guard has a name tag that says Psycho. In BT, the villain from the 5th chapter was also a security guard with the same name on his name tag. The villain Angelo in Part 4 was famously defeated by being fused with a rock by Josuke, leaving him permanently stuck as one of the town's landmarks. In Araki's hometown of Sendai, which Morioh is based on, a rock that sort of resembles Angelo can be found in the forest around the Zuihoji Temple, although this apparently isn't what it's based on. In a 2007 Q&A session at Tohoku University, someone asked if the Angelo rock was based on a real place. Araki said that it was based on some rock in Matsushima, which is about half an hour outside of Sendai. Based on some pictures, it does seem to have some very interestingly shaped rocks. Speaking of this rock, you may not be aware that it actually made a reappearance in recent years. In the 2017 Rohan chapter DNA, which also features the return of Yukiko, the rock can be spotted in the background. The Twitter user Washi Yawashi is well known for doing JoJo cosplays, particularly of mostly nameless background characters. He's done so many amazing cosplays, so here's quite a few of them. First is the nameless guy Dio knocked over in Time Stop. This summer tourist to Morioh, the prison barber, the dog owner from Yellow Temperance, the guy who got knocked out by Oingo, Trish in her janitor disguise.
How cool to cosplay background characters in JoJo's. It's so specific.
Kira's co-worker, who is his own meme with Japanese fans that I've went over before.
Yeah, in the last one, yeah.
The Speedwagon Foundation doctor, the janitor that looks like Mario, the guy who Joseph squirted mustard on in the manga, Mikitaka when he copied the face on the bill, Waldo, this gym teacher who Kira only saw the lower half of, Zizi the user of Wheel of Fortune, Star Platinum in its Jaguars uniform, the runaway girl Anne, and Josuke's savior. Wow. He has a thread with all of the cosplays, and there's some I didn't include, so go check it out. Araki is known for being extremely hands-off when it comes to adaptations or spin-offs of JoJo. According to Kohei Kodono, author of Purple Haze Feedback and Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak, Araki doesn't interfere in the writing process at all and lets people create whatever they want. His only involvement in the light novels comes from his illustrations. Originally, I wasn't sure if Araki himself made the characters or how much input he took from the writers. However, according to Kodono, the author makes a detailed description of the character and Araki draws based on that. Another interesting interaction comes from the Diamond is Unbreakable live-action movie directed by Takashi Miike. During the shooting of the movie, Araki and his wife visited the set to see the shooting.
That's cool.
When he left, Araki told Miike, "Every film belongs to its director. Feel free to destroy the original universe if you need to." Miike said that this line gave him chills. Araki did have one small part in the film's production, which was not really what you'd expect. For the film's depiction of the stand Bad Company, Araki designed a custom camouflage pattern to be used on it. An exception to Araki's usual distance from these projects comes with the JoJo anime, where Araki actually has had creative input when approached.
Right.
According to former series director Naokatsu Suda, Araki did start completely hands-off before becoming more involved starting in Part 3. And with Part 4, he started to help check their use of colors. For example, the team presented Araki with a series of colors that could be used for Koichi's hair. He chose gray as the color they ended up using. For Part 5, it's the same, and Araki was asked to choose the colors for the main characters, most notably the pink color for Giorno. Araki was also consulted for any large additions made by the anime, such as Fugo's new backstory.
It's interesting. I do find that interesting for asking him for input on the use of colors, because obviously the original manga that he's drawing is just black and white. And then they do like color stuff later, don't they? So I do find that quite interesting that they'd actually he'd input what the color should be.
One more thing Araki has had a hand in is the credit songs. Araki usually presents a list of songs to be used that he thinks best suit the story, and one is chosen from this list. Araki is also similarly consulted for the Thus Spoke Shibe Rohan OVAs. For its adaptation of The Run, Araki actually gave the team some instructions. He specifically requested that the character Yoma be made even more muscular, and to make him about as buff as characters from parts 1 to 3. The nameless bald gym patron was the character that underwent the most revision. Araki told animator Shunichi Ishimoto to make him about as buff as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Nice.
Ishimoto initially thought Araki was kidding, since that would deviate a lot from the original look of the character, but Araki seemed to be serious. Speaking of The Run, there was one more potential change that didn't end up making it into the OVA. According to the OVA's director, Toshiyuki Kato, since the original story didn't feature any other Part 4 characters, they initially considered having Yuya Fungami and his fangirls pass by Yoma in the storyboards. However, this didn't end up making it into the final version. In a previous Fun Facts video, I described the series of JoJo escape rooms, 2 of which featured a new original character and stand ability. I also mentioned the Part 4 escape room, Escape from JoJo's Bizarre Amusement Park, which we know very little about. However, more information has come out recently, and we now know about a brand new stand featured in the attraction. Unlike the other escape rooms, the villain of the attraction was Yoshikage Kira, and the player had to avoid attacks from Sheer Heart Attack and Killer Queen.
Okay.
In this attraction, the player actually has access to the unique stand Small Faces, named after the English rock band. The stand takes the form of a piece of paper, which is folded like origami. It has the faces of numerous stands from Part 4 on it. By folding the paper to look like the face of one of the stands, the character can use that ability. The stands on the paper are Crazy Diamond, Echoes, The Hand, Heaven's Door, Harvest, and Star Platinum. However, according to the rules of the stand, it can only copy the abilities of stands directly awakened by the arrow, so Crazy Diamond and Star Platinum don't count. This is kind of odd, since their faces are still on the paper, but I suppose you can do those for fun after you bring the paper home. The Olympic Japanese figure skater Keiji Tanaka is a big fan of JoJo, and has actually paid tribute to Josuke Higashikata multiple times. In the 2018 Japan Figure Skating Championship, he dressed as Josuke and performed to the Part 4 anime's main theme.
That's so cool.
He has since repeated the same routine in 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Awesome.
During the opening ceremonies in 2019, he could also be seen wearing Yoshikage Kira's tie.
Cool.
In 2023, he also portrayed Zoro in the One Piece on Ice show, which adapted the Alabasta arc. In a July 2023 episode of the Romanian version of The Price is Right, a contestant named Elvira appeared in a full Jolene cosplay.
Sick.
She ended up winning a microwave oven and an electric grill.
You go, girl.
Some people on Twitter seem to be under the impression that this was the American celebrity Elvira. However, this is obviously not the case, and this is an entirely unrelated Romanian person named Elvira. Another recent in-person event is one commemorating the release of the Rohan at the Louvre movie. It's running from September of 2023 to January of 2024 in various locations across Japan.
Cool.
One of the event's activities involved creating your own custom Heaven's Door book page.
Cool.
Like all JoJo events, they also have some food items. This time, they're all based on the black pigment used in the painting in the movie. There's also some merch, like Rohan acrylic stands, shopping bags, a replica of his headband, and the movie's novelization on sale. The event also showcases the upcoming SH Figuarts based on the live-action Rohan. I've talked a lot about Araki over the years, but rarely have I ever mentioned his wife, Asami Araki. The two first met when Araki was writing Part 3 and were married 3 months later. In 2009, Asami hosted a live interview where she answered questions at Tokyo University. Asami is actually quite interesting, and with all her stories about Araki, she may even be the subject of a full future video. Here I want to focus on just two things though. First is my favorite part of this interview, how she describes her first date with Araki. One thing to note is that according to Asami, she pretty much took charge of the relationship, so she actually asked him out over the telephone. He was on his way to the pool, so she met him there. He told her, "I'll be swimming back and forth in the 25-meter line a few times, so just play around here." Then Araki went and swam while she sat around by herself quietly at the edge of the pool. Another thing I want to go over is how Asami actually influenced the manga. Araki said that when he first drew Yukiko, he had been married for 2 years. He says that she was inspired by the side of women that people often don't get to see, and that getting married led to him creating more fleshed out female characters.
Very cool.
The other inspiration comes from Part 7, in a scene between Scarlet Valentine and Lucy. Scarlet asks Lucy to sit on her, and in Japanese she asks to give her a press fest. At Araki's Tohoku University lecture, someone asked him what the origin of this term was. Araki said that it came from his wife, who would sometimes charge at him and say, "It's press fest time, it's press fest time." In Asami's interview, she corroborates this story, saying that the press fest is a pro wrestling move where you hurl your entire body as an attack over and over again. In her story, though, it seems like Araki is the one doing the press fest. When asked by the audience to see what this looked like, she replied that it would be impossible. One last bit of Asami trivia comes from her 2019 birthday celebration. There you can see pictures of cakes and snacks with JoJo decorations, including a macaron with the Press Fest panel printed on it. Like I said, that's just a little part of it, and I may make a full video about Asami and the interview sometime soon. Next is one dealing with the town of Morioh in both parts 4 and 8. While it's a different universe entirely, the towns share a lot of similarities. Many landmarks from Part 4 Morioh are carried over to Part 8. However, the same actually happens in reverse as well, with some Part 8 references appearing in the Thus Spokushibe Rohan chapters. So I'd like to go over these since they're pretty interesting. One example of something coming over from Part 4 is the Trussardi restaurant. Jobin mentions the restaurant in Chapter 72. He says that the Higashikata Fruit Company supplies fruit to the restaurant.
So, I don't think it's going to spoil much. If we do get into stuff that's, proper about the story, then we'll have to, skip over,
But that when they called, they couldn't get a table. He also mentions a chef, presumably Tonio. Another example is the Mutsukabe Shrine, referencing the Mutsukabe Hill location featured in the second Rohan chapter. Now for examples of the original universe referencing the new one. The first one isn't quite that, though. In Mutsukabe Hill, the character Gunpei wears a shirt that says SBR. Of course, this is a reference to Steel Ball Run, which was still publishing at the time of this chapter. Later in Part 8, the SBR clothing brand was introduced, so this is like a two-way reference.
That's pretty cool.
The chapter Poaching Seashore released in 2013, after JoJolion had started. This one is most well known for featuring Tonio from Part 4. When looking at the map of Morioh's coast, you can actually see the Twin Pines mentioned. This was a location introduced in JoJolion, although in that story, the pines were separated by the appearance of the walleyes, and it's now known as the Lone Pine. In the chapter Rainy Monday, people can be spotted wearing merchandise for the Seiten Birdies baseball team. Rohan also mentions the team in the chapter DNA, as well as one of its players, Akun. The Seiten Birdies were Morioh's baseball team, first referenced in Part 8. Akun was the nickname of the player Atsunori Iwakiri. In JoJolion, he's the one that purchases the Rokakaka from Aisho, trading away his jaw to heal his shoulder. Some people have tried to use these connections as some kind of proof of the two universes actually being the same, or to say that the Rohan chapters take place in the new universe. However, this is not the case, since these chapters still feature the original universe versions of the characters, like Yukiko, Josuke, Koichi, and Okuyasu.
Yeah, I like to think that 1 to 6 is like just one story, and then Rohan is just like a nice way of like going back into it.
Next one deals with Part 9. The main character Jodio has the stand no.
Okay.
Fun fact deals with the creation of Part 9. The most interesting thing here, though, is the part's name. When Part 9 was first announced, fun facts for now, I was able to cover some very interesting topics here, and I actually learned a lot while making this one. I may have even found some more topics I'd like to flesh out with full videos. As always, I love making these since it's a great way to show off a lot of minor stuff that wouldn't fit anywhere else. If there are any bits of JoJo trivia you'd like to see me cover in the next video, go ahead and comment them down below. If you want...
Sure. As soon as it started getting into those other parts, like, no, I don't need... Sorry. I think there's only one more JoJo fun fact video, number 7, so obviously check that out soon. And then I'm thinking of doing the debunking Araki Forgot extras, but I might check out the video about Araki's wife first to break it up. I don't know. I'll decide when it's time to film another video. Thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video, or want to be able to watch patron-only reactions, such as the original Dragon Ball series, links in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month as last helps support channels. Greatly appreciate thanks for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch or discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys next time.